Hello there, it's me, Egil Thorsson here, and we're doing a historical video, not hysterical. Some time ago I spoke very briefly about bead, and I think it's about time we sort of fleshed out the skeleton, as it were. So, we all are acquainted with history, and some of you may have heard that bead was the father of modern history. So let's go into a little bit more detail. History has what's called a bias. It doesn't matter who's written it, it just happens. Let me explain. Bede is in the monastery at Monkwearmouth, Jarrow. He doesn't go out at all anywhere. So on his wax tablets he writes down a list of sources. Now he hands that to his clerk, who may travel to Rome or various other places getting these histories. The abbot will look at this and think, well, that's not suitable, you can have that, I'll add this. Already is being not so much censored as redirected. Then he'll look at the sources and form his own opinion, again cutting out some parts, putting in some others. So then he comes to the physical act of actually writing it. So what's he writing on? Vellum. What's vellum? Vellum is the skin of a calf. Now, it takes a lot of vellum to make a book. This particular book will say History Ecclesiastica, History of the English Church, which is basically a thumbnail sketch from Adam and Eve right up to his present time. And barring mistakes, it's a calf skin. So what are they doing with the meat from that? These are vegetarians. One would assume it's either sold on or given as alms to the poor. So, if you live near a monastery, it might be a good thing. And we then think about, okay, we talk about ink. How do they make it? Well, they get acorns. Acorns. They burn them until they're black ash. They mix it with water and egg white. Mix that together, and you have an ink. And you write with a quill. Hence, we have pen knives which sharpen the quill to a point. See, I'm a mine of information. And in the scriptorum, where they wrote, Bede would then write this up. Whether it was edited again, I don't know. One would imagine the abbot would cast an eye over it. You have to be very, very careful in case you accidentally broke the rules of the church. At that time, as even today, I guess, they look at the literary outgoings, to make sure it's all right. Okay, so you've got your book made and it's all ready. So what? 9/10 of the people can't read, and that includes monks, that includes some kings. I mean, Charlemagne learnt to read, but he didn't learn how to write. The two sketches are, and I just had a knife thrown at me. I've got my oh, here we go. It's a very jolly penknife, this one, Bragi. I hate opening penknives. There you go. And you see sketches of Bede writing. We use a right-handed, I'm left-handed, but with his penknife ready to sharpen his nib. Anyway, I digress. If most people can't read, who is it for? Well, it's more for people, obviously, who can read, bishops around, to set down a history. And remember, this history is biased towards the church, in favour of the church, and in favour of the Roman Catholic Church. Because you had the Celtic Church, which differed in various forms. You could tell the Celtic Church as their tonsure was from the front, whereas Catholic ones are the ones we know which have got the crown shaved. It's just a way that they sort things out. But it's to promote the influential people. Some kings could read, and maybe they had a member of their court who could read and would read it to the king, or the missionary would read it to the king. And they're living in a time which is oral tradition, where hence we have the sagas, and people are more ready. It's more acceptable to have a story read to you than sit there with a book. So they would take the relevant parts and would fit what suited the king or the person of who they wished to influence, and it's set down a credo, if you like, for the church. Hence you have the Bible and a course of action for people to follow. So it does, even today. I mean, it's a good read, don't get me wrong. There is a modern version. I had to read it when I was a student, and I was actually reading it prior to me going up to York. I'll tell you, creep. But it was quite enjoyable and quite informative. We've learnt a lot from Bede. But yeah, he is the father of history. So anyway, that's a brief thumbnail sketch really of Bede. He has written other things like Lives of the Saints, and it's, again, that's well worth a read. It is sometimes a bit florid, and of course it's biased, but what book or history isn't, as we'll find out later on when I talk about the history of archaeology. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Invite your comments, maybe like to subscribe, press the old bar and bell at the top there, or hashtag history, you'll get us on there. If you've liked it, let us know. If you haven't, let us know, but let us know why. We'd also like it if you leave your comments. It does take us a while to get back to you, but we will, trust me, get there. Also, maybe you've got ideas of something you'd like to see or brought up on the channel. There's things probably you don't want to know about. Again, let us know. It's as much your channel as ours. We like to include everyone. It's not this hoity-toity thing where we know better. We don't. And we'd much rather you tell us what you want to hear, and we'll we'll do more than consider it. We'll probably do it. So anyway, that being said, we'll be doing more historical videos as time goes on, and they're great fun to do, and I hope you enjoy hearing about it. So until we meet again, stay safe and make the world a happy place. Bye.